Hello, I'm Dr. Alex, and this is Let's Talk Chiropractic. I'm here with Tiffany Smollett.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Just a 30-second segment.
All right. I'm 29. I've been coming here for a little bit. It's definitely been helping. I work in hospitality and sales, and definitely have some issues with my neck and back, and he's been able to help me out.
So we got a great show for you. Tiffany's been coming here a long time. Stay put. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Chiropractic. I'm your host, Dr. Alex, here with Tiffany. So, Tiffany began, it was, a year and a half ago?
Something like that, yeah.
It's been a while. She's been coming in on and off. In the beginning, though, just walk us through it. Why did you first come in to see me?
I've always kind of had some neck problems and some back problems. I've been on my feet working physical jobs pretty much since I started working, so.
Right, what was the job you were doing then?
I used to do factory work, so that was pretty hard on my body. And then I'm doing hospitality and sales now, so I'm just always on my feet doing something different.
Right. So she comes in to see me. She's doing pretty bad the first time, but we had decent results right away, right?
Yeah, we did.
We did that side posture move where I put her on her side and I cracked her, I crunched her, and we were moving everything this way and that. Started off less aggressive, added a lot of force, got a lot better. But then, remember what happened? After a while, it stopped getting better.
Yeah.
It was like we hit a wall. And what's interesting was it took us probably, 6-8 weeks of her coming once a week and then just stopped getting better for us to realize we had to pull it back a little bit. So that was a little weird, right?
Definitely, yeah. It was hard to find a good balance or consistency.
Right. Now, did you think I was crazy when I said I wanted to do less adjusting?
No, because if it wasn't working before, it was okay to try something else.
I think the average patient, when they hear a chiropractor say, I want to do less for you, it sounds like I'm giving up on you. But I'm glad you stuck with it and you trusted me and we got through that part. And for a little while, it was good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we got her to finally get even. Her hips were usually a half to a quarter inch out. And then all of a sudden, even. And they were staying for a little bit. But remember, you were a little thin then too, right? And she didn't have the muscle because she was losing weight. When you're thin, you shouldn't lose weight, right? Because then you lose stability. And her body wasn't doing as well anymore. So we had to start doing a little bit more, and it was a maintenance. Do you remember how often you were coming in for a while? Was it every month, every 2 weeks?
I think it was every week for a while.
Every week for a while. It was for a long time.
Yeah.
Until we could get stability.
And it might have been every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then we were doing every 2 weeks, which everybody's different. So for Tiffany, at her age, I don't expect to have to see her every week. I don't expect to have to see her every 2 weeks. I'd say, late 20s, early 30s. Most people, once a month, every other month, is a good maintenance plan, right? That means you're not dying, you're not in pain. We just want to make sure it's like changing your oil. We're keeping everything in check. But for you, we needed to go every 2 weeks. We just found out she wasn't going to last much longer than that. And you were pretty good, right? You didn't have too many gaps in care?
Yeah, that seemed like a good time for that.
And you had different jobs you were doing too, like with the whitewater rafting guide. So some things were a little harder.
Yeah, a lot of physical jobs, definitely. Definitely affecting my body in different ways.
Right. And then, there's other things that go into it too. I'm glad we were able to get that period that we had that was so long where you were doing well. You would see me just every other week. Not too bad, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's usually coming in with a smile. And then when trouble did come about, it's usually not as bad. Now, recently, she's been on her feet a lot more. And this has made things a little bit more challenging. So she's back to being off more often. I'm seeing you every week again.
Yeah, it's every week currently.
And it's been kind of a struggle.
Kinda. So I'm working 2 jobs. So I'm on my feet for both, but one of them I'm standing and the other one I'm like running around, so I feel like it's affecting my body differently.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that's a big deal. So people think like waitressing, like you were doing before, right? Or you were waitressing for a little while.
Yeah, I'm still doing that too.
Yeah. So of course she's doing everything. Wonder Woman over here. Moving around though, it's a lot healthier for your joints than just standing in place. And now with your new job, it's a lot of standing in place. So your back's struggling a little bit more. Just standing on it's what tends to happen is you're standing up nice and straight, and then as you get tired, you start to lean on your back. It's almost like you arch your back a little more, and you're just standing on the facets, the joints in the back of your spine. That's eventually going to cause trouble like it does with Tiffany.
Either that, or I feel like we have a podium and I'll kind of find myself leaning forward on it,
Yeah.
which isn't great either.
No, that's not great. I mean, it's not as bad as when someone sleeps wrong or sits wrong. You don't do either of those though, right?
I try my best not to.
How about with the sleeping? Do you ever misbehave and sleep on your stomach?
Occasionally, yes. I try my best not to, but yeah, occasionally I'll toss and turn and
So
find myself.
maybe you fall asleep on your back or side and then wake up on your stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. So that's a big problem. What I kind of helps a little bit is the old pillow between the knees. If you put the pillow between your knees and a pillow up here too, it'll help you not to lift that leg up and then end up on your stomach.
Okay, that's a good thing. I'll try that out.
Yeah, I mean, and some people go crazy. I have some patients who'll end up throwing the pillow across the room, you know. It's kind of one of those things that I recommend trying it, and then if it works out great, that's great, because then it's solved problem. And then maybe your back won't go out as much, because it's definitely a struggle. Now, right now, with you standing more, still doing the waitressing, but standing more with the other job, we're also adding back in. So we were being aggressive, and then we had to back off, and then she got better. And now we're still backed off, and we had to dial it back up. We're now being more aggressive again, because what I'm finding is that she's not getting better with the less is more technique. I was calling it less is more. We took away some of the aggressive stuff, and she was doing better. But now that we're adding it back in, we're starting to get more results again. I think after we get through this period where things are kind of bad, maybe then we can take it back a notch again, hopefully get her back to that nice maintenance area
Yeah.
where everything was good for so long, right?
Maybe not every week.
Yeah, it would be nice if you didn't have to see me all the time, right? And you know, I love being able to make my own treatment plans. It's wonderful working in a clinic where I have so much freedom, because for somebody healthy like her, I'm not telling her to come in 3 times a week when we're trying to aggressively get this done. If you're in terrible pain, I can do that. But it's nice that you don't have to. You're living your life. You're able to do your treatment plan, not be in pain until you know, maybe a day or two before you come see me. You come see me, and it's not like you don't have to, like if you're doing terrible, you could just come in, right? Mm-hmm. But you know, it's flexible treatment plans. It's a wonderful thing about here. So tune in, and we're going to go to break. When we come back, we're going to be talking more about Tiffany's this end of care, a little bit of the complications that came in the middle, and eventually we're going to be getting to her, showing you what it's like to adjust Tiffany. So tune in. Hello and welcome back to Let's Talk Chiropractic. I'm Dr. Alex, your host here with Tiffany. So Tiffany, we were talking a little bit about her care. She is a little bit of a unique case. We had the ups and downs, a little bit of a roller coaster ride. We had her changing life circumstances, and now how that's affecting her back, how that's affecting her spinal hygiene, we call it. So I'd like to cover a little bit your expectations for care. So what's the point that you want to get to? Like for some people, they want to never see me again. They want to get 100% better. Some people, I like it if I can get to the point where I only have to see you once a month, once every other month. What's your expectations?
Probably more so like maybe the once a month, just to not be in pain so much. Usually off balance with my hips, so like to get to a balanced, steady place if possible.
And by the way, that's very reasonable. She knows that asking to get to the point where she doesn't have to see me anymore is a little unreasonable. I think the best chance for you, we could talk a little bit about these home exercise programs. Like if we just give you simple little workouts that can increase the stability muscles. They're never hard. The big workouts where you get huge muscles, they're not usually stability muscles.
Okay, I would definitely be interested in that. Honestly, the only like exercise I'm doing lately is I have an exercise bike and I'll go on that.
Well, and you work a lot. That's exercise.
Yeah, I do work a lot.
do
I'm on
work
my
a
feet
lot.
all the time.
Yeah, that's important to cover too. The classic example of a work-life balance issue causing back problems is the guy who's working 100 hours a week, the 50-year-old woman working in Amazon warehouse. We love Amazon.
I've been there.
But working in the warehouse is a little tough.
Yeah.
And if you're a 50-year-old woman who's starting to get osteoporosis, it's not the best place for you. So you're working at least 2 jobs right now, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lot of hours?
Hit and miss.
Hit and miss, she said.
Hit and miss, yeah, it depends.
Okay. Do you work a full week, like 40 hours a week?
Between both usually, yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes more, sometimes a little less.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Well, I just want to make sure that you're not overdoing it. Because, if you're working real hard, hurting your back, then not sleeping well at night because your back hurts, and then having to see me more, it's kind of a spiral.
Yeah.
Right?
I see that.
Yeah. It's just, something to think about. As for exercises, the nice thing about the pelvis is any of your core exercises done to a small amount helps those stabilizers. One of the simplest ones is when you lay on your back and you just tilt your pelvis forward, hold it forward. Like, look at how simple that is. I can feel it though.
Okay.
And then when you relax it, you're lying on your back like so, if I'm laying on the ground. When you relax it, that little pressure you feel release, those are the muscles you want to focus on squeezing. Things like that, very simple. Going on all fours, lifting a leg in the arm, that's bird dog. Very simple to do these HEPs, and we could talk more about that as part of your care plan because your goal is to see me once a month. And when you were doing well before, it was every other week. So we want to get twice as long as that.
Yes.
Very doable. You're young. It's easy to do things when you're young. Okay, well, we talked about work-life balance. We talked about your expectations. Today, do you think you're doing okay?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I always have some tension in my lower back and neck, so.
Yeah, and talk a little bit about this. This has been a recurrent issue for the last few weeks, and apparently it's been on her mind for a while. What's going on with the neck?
Yeah, I mean, I've cracked my neck for a while. My fingers, it's bad. It's a bad habit. I feel like I've made it worse progressively by doing that, so coming here definitely helps. Right.
When you crack your own neck, the middle part of your neck gets a lot of stretch and a lot of extra motion. So that little extra stretch done every day, and let's be honest, probably multiple times a day, right? You wouldn't see your chiropractor every day. Well, when you're doing it yourself, you're not even doing it right. So you're stretching out the middle part of your neck, and then when you turn your head to the left and right now, if the middle part is that mobile, what'll end up happening is the top and bottom, they won't move. They're like men who have nothing to do, they won't do anything, right? That's we like to say. So the upper and lower part of the neck, what happens when they stop moving? Whenever you're moving your neck, but they're not moving, what happens is they degenerate, they become dysfunctional. A dysfunctional neck causes migraines. Do you get headaches?
Occasionally.
They get shoulder issues. And when it gets bad, it looks like debilitating migraines every day. And it looks like shoulder issues that shoot down and cause numbness in the hands. And really, really bad is when you lose muscle strength. So I've had patients that we've had to learn rehabilitation to use different muscles because certain ones don't work anymore. All that to say, do not crack your neck. It is not a good idea. It's going to cause big issues. And just, try. I know it is like an addiction. It's crazy.
That is. It's like smoking cigarettes and trying to quit. Honestly, it's the same kind of addiction, I guess.
Right. All right. We're going to show you what it looks like to treat Tiffany. So stay tuned. Come right back. We'll be in my treatment bay. Welcome back to Let's Talk Chiropractic. I'm Dr. Alex, your host, here with Tiffany. Tiffany's about to get on our high-low table. We have these special tables. Part of the point of having them is that if you're in terrible pain and you can't lay down, they help you lay down. But also, when you're standing, your hips are in their functional position. We want you to lay down the same way you stand. So now I don't have to do any tricks to make that happen. I can just put her on this table. So we'll go face down, with your face in the middle, and your hands on the pads. And let me go a little bit. All good? Mm-hmm. Tiffany's done this a bunch of times. She's a pro. Usually the first time people go down on these, they're a little bit nervous about it. But it's harmless. Not too bad. Let's see how her hips are doing. I go down to the feet to talk to the hips. So, I can't tell if you guys can see it, but she's about a 1/4 inch short on this side. And I can't tell if it's tailbone or not until, and sure enough, ooh, it looks even worse. It's about a 1/2 inch when we bring it up. So maybe about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch short on the right, and it stays that way. That means her tailbone has shifted to the right. If I'm going to show you on this model, that's this bone has shifted to the right, and it pulls this hip up actually, because this joint glides like so, and it'll pull this one down. Very strange. I'll roll the whole thing though, while holding the hip in place, and that'll straighten it out. To show you what I'm expecting to see, I'm going to do a little trick. Tiffany, I haven't done this for a while. That's the one where I flick that ligament to test it, so just don't be alarmed. So if I flick this ligament, temporarily it'll look like it's even. That's what I want to get. That's just a test though. I didn't fix anything. So if I just wait a moment, it'll undo itself because I didn't actually move it. I just made this ligament pull it into place for a second. It's a reflex. You pull on the ligament, the muscle pulls it back into place, but now you can see it's back to being off the same amount it was. We'll cross this leg over, give it a little push. Hold the hip, press the tailbone back into place. I put my knee on the table because I don't want to push any harder than I have to. So once I get the right amount of force, I just lean on it with my knee. Some of the older chiropractors taught me that trick. It's a neat one. And we did it. Now how do I know it's not like I did before, where it just went back off after 10 seconds? Well, I'll just wait a second. If it's good, it'll be good in 10 seconds too. I hope it's good for many weeks. But knowing Tiffany, I'll be happy to get 1 week. She's in a bad place right now with her back. All right, that was even, that's good. We've accomplished that. That is in place. I'm going to check out the rest of the mid-back just by leaning and talking to it. Breathe in and out. I'm not trying to make noise. When I'm leaning and pushing on her back, I'm feeling the give. I'm feeling where there's pressure that won't let me move it. Breathe in and out. Yeah, I would do this from the other side of the table, but I don't want to give her an inferior adjustment. I'm used to adjusting her from this side. A little bit of noise there. So she had some spots, some ribs that were a little bit out of whack. So Tiffany, let's turn on your side facing this wall. That tailbone adjustment that I did, it's in place, but that joint is deep. So what I want, it's sitting in the right spot. I want it to fall in and lock in there so it stays. This is the part that we took out when you were doing better, but you're not now. So we're trying to get a little bit done. We added it back in temporarily, and it already moved, just like that. Light, right? Not much pressure. You can lay on your back face up. Her neck on the right has been bothering her for a while now. We've been getting movement there. Her neck is a little unique in this way as well. Normally when I adjust the neck, I usually get 2 spots. One on the left, one on the right. One might be high, one might be low. But we've been getting 3 spots, which is a bad sign for her neck. So that means way deep on the right, in the middle on the left, and way on the top on the right. All 3 of those spots have needed adjustments the last time. I'm going to start on the left. It's not feeling that bad. That's great. That's great. I'm going to give it a little turn though. Just one noise. That's great. I'm very happy with just one noise. That's a healthy neck. We'll try the deep one on the right. I heard two noises, but one was a little higher. Now that's the top one. You all right?
Mm.
Yeah. So like I said, everybody's a little bit unique. Tiffany's thing is that she has more going on in her neck than the average person. How's it feeling? No rib stuff? Is it calming down some?
Oh, yeah, that felt really good.
So what did I do? Her neck, the average person, if I find trouble here, at the top of the neck, this is the skull, normally on the bottom on the other side we'll find trouble as well. But for Tiffany, it's more dramatic. On the top on the right, I found trouble. In the middle on the left, I found trouble. And then on the bottom on the right, I also found trouble. So two here, one there. We started here, it wasn't bad. We moved this one, two noises, that's all right, that's not too bad. Up here, it was a lot of little noises. This was actually the worst of it today. I'm glad we've solved it for now. And if you don't crack your neck and you don't sleep on your stomach, it should stay solved for a while. It was very nice having you on the show today, Tiffany. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for tuning in. We'll be here as always, and have a good night. Take care.